So the Congress of Traditional Leaders of South Africa has been lobbying for inclusion in the country's government and previously expressed concern that they had been excluded from political party negotiations ahead of the formation of the Government of National Unity. Let's talk about it now with Contralesa Secretary General Zolani Mkiva to get a reaction on last night's announcement. Zolani, good morning to you. Thank you very much for your time. Let's go back to recently, last week, meeting with the ANC at Luthuli House. You pressed the issue of the importance of Contralesa having a seat at the GNU table. How do you feel now, seeing the outcome of those talks with the ANC and the other parties?
Well, I think that let's be positive for a start and say that we are happy that finally the cabinet has been appointed and has been registered to the nation. And we want to take this opportunity to wish the president, together with his executive, all the best during their term in office. Of course, we've got fixed feelings with regards to what has happened last night, because it is for the first time this occurs after so many years, 3 decades, of an administration headed by the ANC, the glorious liberation movement of this country. So we hope that there's going to be a harmonious relationship out of this, with all the disjunctures and contradictions that are entailed by different ideologies on the table. I hope that all of them will be guided by one principle: the principle of delivering services to the toiling masses of our people, to change the plight of our communities, to bring infrastructural investment, and to ensure that there is improvement in the livelihood and the turning around of the situation of poverty, inequality, as well as unemployment. But most importantly, we are going to press upon this 7th administration so that it puts its spoon down on the accelerator insofar as the restoration of land and the issue of economic inclusivity. So that's why I'm saying that we sort of have mixed feelings, but we want to be positive that something progressive is going to come out of this in spite of those contradictions. We know that every struggle has got contradictions. Secondly, on the issue of the fact that we had engagements with the ANC, and those engagements were quite very meaningful and productive, and the ANC wants to be considerate of this. And we know that the announcement of the cabinet, it's not an end to this engagement. We're going to continue to say we want to sit on the main table. And of course, as things are now, we are not happy with the fact that we don't have a direct representation as the only formal structure that represents the organized institution of traditional leadership. So we're going to engage, and we just want to be positive. We're not rushing anywhere. This is our country. We're staying put, and therefore this engagement continues. And sitting on the table.
Let me come in there. Let me come in there. Sorry, Zolani. I know that there's, my mother always says, out of the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaketh. And your heart certainly is full on these issues. And I'm hoping to share some time on the voter base of the ANC and some of your thoughts around their rural support base. We'll also talk about what you think of the new appointee in the land portfolio. But you said you're unhappy. You continue to be unhappy with the fact that you do not have a seat at the table. How do you plan to get there?
We will get there. There's no question about it, because we have good relations with the ANC. And we will continue to engage, and we participate in some of the structures of the ANC. We get invited, and those deliberations are going to continue. We believe that it is something that it has to happen from time to time. It can't be looked at as a once-off engagement. What we were saying on the eve of the formation of this particular 7th administration is not something new. We've been engaging with the ANC. The ANC is a big organization. It's like a big elephant. It takes some time to take a decision on a specific matter. But that engagement is happening, and we want to be very respectful when we do it, because we are an institution of traditional leadership. We are guided by the principles and norms and values of Ubuntu. We are not reckless when we engage. We want to be staying on the course of constructivity. So
land is a big issue for Contralesa. Let's talk about your thoughts then on the appointment of Mzwanele Nyonso, who is from the PAC as Minister of Land Reform and Rural Development.
It's very interesting that the president of the PAC is assuming that a portfolio which talks to land restoration, land reform, because the PAC has always raised, that's the first item on their every manifesto, on their very establishment, is the land issue. So we are hopeful. We have got formal relations as Contralesa with the PAC because we recognize the PAC as one of the liberation movements in our country. And we hope that the new minister will do the right thing. I think he's going to be under a lot of pressure because it is known by everyone that he lives and breathes the issue of restoration of land. And therefore, the expectation on his part is very high. So as we, as the Congress of Traditional Leaders, our expectation is actually very high. But we know that is not going to be working in isolation from the rest of the cabinet. But we can only hope that he will articulate that matter. We have confidence in him. We know him for many years. He is a man that he could be trusted. We hope that the cabinet will support him in that trajectory. So we are happy with that appointment, actually, insofar as the land question is concerned. We don't have issues. I think it has been placed on the right man, who is part of the talented patriots of our country. We can only wish him all the best. We'll give him support, as we will give the support to the entire cabinet.
Let's close with this one, and just going back to the creation of a working group that you've put together as a Contralesa on traditional leaders and how they can play in the GNU. There is a national dialogue that's committed to partnership and collaboration. What do you think that your role and your influence on that is likely to be in closing, Zolani?
Our role is going to be very instrumental and very mainstreamed. We want to be not only around the table, but we want to ensure that even the facilitation of that we are involved, so that we can play that role of being mediators and uniters of our people. The issue of the national dialogue, of the national convention, we also want it to be a decision-making event. It must come up with recommendations of what needs to be done in terms of the structural arrangements in the country in order to turn around our fortunes, to ensure that there's accountability, to ensure that the strategic goals are actually achieved insofar as the national democratic revolution of this country. The restoration of land is a key issue for our people. The issue of the economy that is embedded only in a particular community of South Africa, it needs to be debunked and it needs to be dealt with to the extent that the economy should be equitable, shared amongst all the citizens of South Africa, because it is now skewed and it can't continue forever. So we are looking forward to this. So that dialogue, we're looking forward. We want to be part and parcel of organizing it. We don't want to be waiting in the margins. We are very active. The National Working Group has already met with the ANC, as you have indicated. We have met with the PAC. We have met with EFF. We have met with MK. We have met with, we have spoken to SACB, Sanko, COSATU, and we are continuing to engage with the Black Business Council. It's work in progress. So we have taken an active role insofar as that is concerned. We don't want to wait for letters. We don't want to be invitees on that matter, because it's a matter that we have also been saying it needs to be done.
Let's see how it plays out. Contralesa Secretary General Zolani Mkiva talking to us there. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.